We are back with the monthly mock draft series after last month we saw the lottery take place and we got the official order for the top 14 picks in the 2020 NBA draft, and now that a month has gone by, we're once again back with another installment. The last one was more of an instant reaction to the order when it was set, so this one involves a bit more of a shakeup at the top now that we've had more time to think about who should go where. Before we get into it though, I wanted to thank the sponsor of today's video, Manscaped. Manscaped is the only men's brand dedicated to below-the-waist grooming and hygiene. We've all experienced unpleasant nicks and scratches around the groin region after trying to clean ourselves up down there, so that's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team spent 18 months perfecting the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created and just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. Their third generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to prevent manscaping accidents. When I tell you this is premium, I mean it's premium. The battery will last up to 90 minutes so you can take a longer shave. One of the coolest features is the LED light, which illuminates grooming features for a closer look and more precise trimming. And let's not forget the charging stand. Manscaped also sells a plethora of other grooming products for all sorts of needs, so be sure to click the link in my description to check it out for yourself. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code HR20 at manscaped.com, and your balls will thank you. More information will be linked in the description and the comments section, but for now, with that being said, let's get back into the video. Starting at the bottom with the 14th pick and working our way up to the much anticipated number 1 pick, the Boston Celtics select Tyrese Maxey from Kentucky. The Celtics are currently in the conference finals and look like they have one of the most complete lineups in the whole league, so coming across minutes is going to be tough for any youngster coming in, but what I like about Maxey's fit here is that he's a tenacious defender, which will be something that Stevens favors, and Maxey is a highly capable playmaker who could play backup minutes at either guard spot. Maxey didn't exactly shoot the ball well in college, but he's known as someone who is highly capable of knocking down those shots, and just like they took a chance on Tatum in 2017 after a mediocre shooting year from him, they'll see Maxey as worth the risk this year as well. Next up at pick number 13, the New Orleans Pelicans select Saddiq Bey from Villanova. The Pelicans have a good mix of young playmakers, shot creators, and bigs, but their biggest area of need in general is perimeter shooting and defense, so drafting who I believe will be the best 3-and-D prospect left at this point makes sense. Bey had a phenomenal season at Villanova this year, where he shot the lights out and demonstrated the ability to defend multiple different positions successfully. He's even showed off a rapidly improving ability to create his own shot off the dribble. He has a nice mid-range pull-up jumper, and he can take advantage of smaller defenders in the post. Up next with the 12th pick, the Sacramento Kings select Aaron Nesmith from Vanderbilt. The Kings are stuck in such a weird spot, and the frustrations of the season could result in Buddy Hield requesting a trade. He wasn't happy with how he was used this year, he struggled as a result of it, and a fresh start elsewhere might be what's best for him and the team. In that case, drafting Nesmith would fill that void that he might leave, because Nesmith emerged this season as the best shooter in the entire draft, making 50% of his threes on high volume. He moves well without the ball, he gets himself into good positions to get his shot off, and he would work very well off of De'Aaron Fox and his playmaking ability. Next up at number 11, the San Antonio Spurs select Devin Vassell from Florida. I mentioned last pick that Nesmith is probably the best shooter in the class, but Vassell is not far behind him, and he also brings a much more advanced skill set all around. Vassell is a very useful shot creator for himself off the dribble, he gets to the basket and finishes with nice touch around the rim, and defensively, he has all of the physical tools and skills to excel. The best part about his defense at Florida State is the fact that he was one of the most active and impactful team defenders in all of college, hounding passing lanes, using his length to make life difficult for anyone around him, and contesting shots impressively. Up next with the 10th pick, the Phoenix Suns select Cole Anthony from UNC. The Suns still have Ricky Rubio under contract for 2 more years, and for the most part, he's done well as Devin Booker's running mate in the backcourt, but the team has still reportedly been looking to bring in a point guard in the draft, and Anthony is the best available at this spot. Anthony had an up-and-down year in college featuring injuries and inconsistent play, but he's a competitor that plays hard and does what needs to be done to win games, and he has the leadership skills that should earn him some respect in the locker room. There are a lot of mixed opinions about whether or not he's a lottery caliber talent, but I think he's a much better player than he's shown in college this year. Next up with the 9th pick, the Washington Wizards select Isaac Okoro from Auburn. The Wizards are getting a lot of their key contributors back next year, with none bigger than the return of John Wall, but outside of him and Bradley Beal, the role players need work, specifically defensively. Bringing in the best defensive prospect in the draft class in Okoro makes a lot of sense here to help out on the wing. He's big, he's strong, he's explosive, and he's powerful, and that not only helps him on the defensive end, but offensively he's a very good finisher at the basket and cutter off the ball. He's not the best shooter right now, but he's a hard worker with the ability to improve over time. Next up with the 8th pick, the New York Knicks select Tyrese Haliburton from Iowa State. Point guard is definitely the team's biggest need right now, and Haliburton is not only one of the most well-rounded point guards in the draft, but one of the most well-rounded players in the draft period. Haliburton has terrific court vision and awareness with the passing ability to find his teammates and set them up for easy baskets. He's always under control, he doesn't need to do too much, and is always looking to make the right play. As a scorer, he's ridiculously efficient as a shooter because he takes the shots that he's comfortable making. He's not a difficult shot maker or an elite shot creator, but he can do well to set up other Knicks around him to make their lives easier. Next up at number 7, the Detroit Pistons select Onyeka Okongwu from USC. The Pistons have a decision to make this summer regarding breakout player Christian Wood, and if they don't want to pay him the money that he'll undoubtedly get elsewhere, then they could draft Okongwu to come in and take over his role at center. Okongwu is the best rim protector in the draft, he's explosive and strong around the basket, and most importantly, his defensive versatility extends out to the perimeter, and he has the lateral ability to hold his own against quicker players. That versatility is seen in players like Bam Adebayo and is more valued now than ever, so Okongwu should be a very valuable player for a long time in the league. Up next at number 6, the Atlanta Hawks select Killian Hayes from France. At first, this might seem like a conflict of interests because Trae Young is one of the brightest young point guards in the league right now, but realistically, they're going to need another playmaker alongside him to create some offense because right now way too much is on Trae Young's shoulders and they won't ever win that way. Hayes can easily play alongside Trae Young in the backcourt because he has the size to play shooting guard, he's a capable enough shooter to work off the ball, but most importantly, he can handle the ball at a high level and run offense for teammates in the minutes that Trae's on the bench. Having multiple playmakers on the floor has never proven to be a bad thing, especially when they can work off of each other, and Hayes has the ability to balance things out for Atlanta. Next up at number 5, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Obi Toppin from Dayton. Toppin is the reigning college player of the year, and there have been reports saying that the Cavs are very high on him, which makes sense for several reasons. Over the last few years, the Cavs have invested heavily in young, promising talent at the guard and wing positions, while the majority of the front court depth is older, more experienced veterans. It would not surprise me at all to see them look to trade some of those guys, like Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson, and Andre Drummond, to open up playing time for the younger players, and bringing in Obi Toppin would motivate them even more to do so. Toppin's athleticism was a joy to watch in college this year as he threw down highlight dunks and made big-time plays on a game-to-game basis, but he's also an incredibly well-rounded offensive player that can create mismatches in the post and stretch the floor out to the three-point line. Next, with the 4th pick in the draft, the Chicago Bulls select Deni Avdija from Israel. The new president of basketball operations in Chicago has a very good history scouting international prospects, and now that he's in charge, here, Avdija makes a lot of sense as the pick. He's 6'9" and a point forward type player that handles the ball well for someone at that size, has very good court vision and passing ability, and overall, just has a lot of offensive versatility. The Bulls have a good group of young talent at the guard spots and with their big men, so a wing player could do a bit of everything, should fit nicely into the rotation. Next up, with the 3rd pick in the draft, the Charlotte Hornets select James Wiseman. Wiseman is the player we've seen the least amount of film on, but he's a player that could potentially have the highest upside. He's by no means a perfect prospect at the center position, but he has a lot of the physical and skillful characteristics that have made scouts very high on him. He's 7'1" with a long wingspan, he has great shot blocking instincts, and offensively, he's always a threat to score inside and finish on a pick and roll. He fits the roster so perfectly because the center position is their biggest need at the moment, and his play style will fit flawlessly alongside guys like Terry Rozier, Devontae Graham, and Miles Bridges. And now, with the second pick in the draft, the Golden State Warriors select Anthony Edwards from Georgia. I was very back and forth between the top pick and this pick with the players involved, but ultimately Edwards falls to number 2 just barely. The Warriors might not even keep their pick as they will look to package it in a trade, but if that doesn't happen, then Edwards would be the best player available for them to take. He's a big-bodied, strong guard with elite scoring ability from all 3 levels and can make difficult shots look easy. He had a lot on his shoulders at Georgia and carried the scoring load for a lot of the year, so while his efficiency numbers don't look that great, you have to keep that in mind. Being able to learn from scorers like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson definitely wouldn't help his development either, and he'd be a dangerous 6th man for a revitalized Warriors team. And now, we've finally made it to the highly anticipated number 1 pick, and with it, the Minnesota Timberwolves select LaMelo Ball from the NBL. LaMelo's been a controversial player since his freshman year of high school, and to this day, still has a lot of doubters, but I'm a firm believer of him and his potential. His playmaking ability and passing are without question the best in the draft and are top tier. He sees the floor and makes plays that most others simply cannot make. He's a crafty ball handler that can get to his spots with ease, and he's a confident shooter with deep range. Yes, I know his shooting percentages are worrisome from his season in the NBL this year, but as an 18-year-old playing against grown men and being put on the worst team in the NBL without much help around him, he had to do a lot, and for the most part he did do well. I think he has the tools that just can't be taught, and he makes the players around him better, and his presence on the Wolves would make the lives of scorers like D'Angelo Russell and Karl Anthony Towns much easier. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below who you want your favorite team to draft this year. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.